Om Namah Shivaya friends, welcome to Dots of Destiny. Let's talk about Jupiter's transit today. And since Jupiter is going direct very fast in Taurus by 4th of February after a long time of retrogression, and a lot of things has been stuck. As we know, retrogression is always looking back, and things are stuck also in retrogression. That happens. Now, the transit as it begins in Taurus from 4th of February, Jupiter going direct, it'll move into Gemini and then into Cancer. So a long time from February 4th to 11th of November, nearly the end of the year, we will have a very direct Jupiter rushing through three signs. Now, this transit is not the regular transit, as we know. Jupiter going in at a very fast speed than usually it goes. Now, what I feel personally, whenever a planet like Jupiter, which is a grace-giving planet, a blessing of the Guru, the protection is a little not really at its best. I call it in that way. Because when a planet is rushing, it moves across from one sign to the other, and Saturn is situated in its sign of Pisces, very stable, rather more stable actually. And Saturn this whole year, it'll move some, I think 9 degrees till December, and then retrograde back again to 0 degree Pisces. So it's a very slow moving Saturn, and not only that, it again comes back to 0 degree Pisces where it has started. In this process, the blessing of the Jupiter, the protection of Jupiter could have been really very important, as Mars is also debilitated and not in a very good shape this year. Now, one thing, see, it is not about like everything is not wasted or everything is not bad. But the thing is that one has to understand the fact that when a planet goes into its opposite sign, like Sagittarius is the Mool Trikona of Jupiter, going into Gemini is not the Jupiterian part or the sign that Jupiter looks forward to. Because third house is not a Jupiter house, I mean, in any sense. It is very small term goals. I know maybe Gemini ascendants or Gemini moon can get a little, they can feel a little awkward about it, bad about it. But as far as I have studied the sign of Gemini, I have seen that it is very intellectual, no doubt about it. But even Aquarius is a level apart from the Aries sign, being quite more intellectual or more in its capacity of understanding and also giving back to society. Gemini is because the Mercurian traits, it is crafty. And Jupiter is not the planet of craft. It is a planet of knowledge, vast knowledge. And opposite to the sign of Sagittarius, any sign opposite to it will have a sign which this is not very comfortable with, right? That is how we see the 7th house. It is our Marak. Marak means we have to bond with that. That is the 7th house becomes, that's why the most hindrance in our path, because the characteristics of the 7th sign is always very different from the other sign opposite to it. Like Sagittarius is long terms, goals, higher ideologies, philosophies. That is Sagittarius, the knowledge to its expansiveness. Gemini is a very mercurial, not only mercurial, it is like a childish sign. Small goals, regular goals, go-getter goals, and questioning, gathering information. This is not where Jupiter is very much comfortable with. Yes, obviously, whenever Jupiter gets into a sign, Mercury, because it is a 3rd house, marriages and all these things, short communications, marriages, startups, some kind of an intellectual pursuit in its small ways, they are favored with Jupiter in Gemini. This transition from Taurus, neither, see, Jupiter in the second house, and whenever Jupiter transits a sign, what I have seen is that, I have personally seen from my understanding is that, more than giving, what it gives is that it gives you an understanding or knowledge in a good way how to handle that house and its significance. That is how I see Jupiter actually. Like when Saturn goes into a sign, it brings the challenges of the sign. Then to understand the challenge and then to rectify it, it takes a lot of hardships. That is patience, understanding, hardships, all this. Jupiter does not bring that. It immediately like makes you understand the how to handle. Suppose it gets into Taurus. Taurus is the money house. How to handle your speech, your savings, your food, your family. I mean, that is a general Kalpurush Kundli of Taurus. It gives in all those rectifications to that sign. So it's not painful. Understandingly, you go through the rectified things. But Saturn is that thing, and Rahu Ketu is very destabilizing. Now here Jupiter becomes quite unstable. I will not call it destabilizing, but because it is rushing so fast, we have to understand that, are we able to really understand what it is trying to giving us for the sign? Going into the ascendants and talking of the moon sign or the ascendant wise analysis is, yeah, that I'll do. But first is that the understanding of what the transit is heading towards from Taurus to Gemini to Cancer. So 3 signs are getting affected in your horoscope. 2026, it will start with again Gemini, then Cancer, then Leo. So every year now Jupiter is starting to cross 3 signs. It's not an easy Jupiter. Not that it is gearing up to give you pain, but what I'm trying to say is that the rectification that it brings to your table, to your understanding of that particular sign, can get a miss because it is running very fast. To understand the process, to grasp the understanding of how to rectify the area where Jupiter is transiting to, that is the biggest grace of Jupiter in my point of view. Now, because it is running fast, now we have to be very careful and don't take all the things literally very easy. And because Jupiter is transiting, let me take a, that's the thing. The protection is not as solid as a guru could have given when it is transiting 13 months in a sign. So this is what I wanted to say about the transit of Jupiter. Now from the moon sign and ascendant, now see, always this question is there. Ascendant brings you to the bodily, you are experiencing the thing, it brings the thing to the table. From the moon sign, yes, the goodness or the badness, the feeling is the mind. So both you can see, that can be, but I especially feel Lagna because it is a fructification of the thing. So I prefer seeing it from the Lagna. And if you have a Lagna, moon on the Lagna, then same thing is happening for you. Suppose a 6th house Jupiter transit, you are going to change a job or you're changing the circumstances of your everyday life. Your mind is also thinking that is only brought to the table also with your, with the Lagna also, if you have the moon on the Lagna. But suppose you have a moon in the, Jupiter is transiting from the moon 4th house, you are getting a good feeling, but then your body, suppose from the Lagna it is 6th, then your body has to do all those changes in the 6th house, but your mind is in a restful state, or it wants the peace of the home and all these things. So it's a different way of the mind and the actual what is happening with the Lagna. So let's see now how Jupiter transits. More or less I'll touch upon the 3 pockets that Jupiter goes into now, like starting from Taurus to Gemini to Cancer, for each of the signs. Let's see how it pans out. Aries ascendants, this is the first transit is starting from Taurus, your 2nd house to 3rd house, and then the 4th house. So see, second house is all about money, and for the last obviously money is a very important thing, but from last year, whatever Aries ascendants I have interacted with, they are really concerned about the kind of money, because that is what I was telling about, that Jupiter makes you think and understand how you can do the things better in your second house area. So if something you are running a governing phase of Jupiter dasha antar dasha or pratyanta dasha also at this moment of time, then it can be really fructifying, and it can bring the wealth or conserve the wealth. Some family situations may be good. If you are I mean, see, Taurus is all about though it is the enemy sign of Jupiter, but still the goodness of Jupiter in this last 3 months will be felt in month of February, March, April, and also till 15th of May, before it goes into your third house. Now, third house is about initiation. Now, till now, if you had been thinking about the monetary things, the family things, the second house matters, mainly Jupiter here is about the taste. You could have gone for some fancy food also, good food, but second house is mainly about savings and the money, keeping it into your account. Now, third Jupiter will tell you about or teach you about the initiation of a thing, like, because third house is a very crafty house. Gemini is one such sign, definitely, and you will be able to, if you want to start anything, if you have to go for journeys to start anything, if you have to mend your some relationships with your siblings or neighbors, all these things can happen in this transit. It is a desire oriented transit. The third house is a desire house, and yes, it is not a bad sign to have third house Jupiter aspects the first only it will aspect the 7th house, the 9th house, its own sign, and the 11th house. So 9th house aspect, I suppose, will be really good, because it can enhance your luck. And because the Lagna Lord Mars is in not a very good condition, maybe some kind of luck enhancement gives you that extra edge to a little betterment that you have been wanting. Many Aries ascendants can go for a marriage this year, because the Libra sign, the 7th house, will get the aspect of Jupiter and Rahu also. So if you are in that kind of a age, it can well happen. So and the last aspect is on your 11th house, where Rahu will transit alongside Jupiter. This arrangement is not bad, and some progress, some growth, some new things, if you want to start, all these things can happen with you in this year with the progress of Jupiter. For a little bit of time, it will go into Cancer, your 4th house, which is a really welcome transit of Jupiter in Cancer. You can have some good feeling at home, some ceremonies, your mother health, because Mars had been in Cancer for a very long time. It will be still. So if it needs some kind of a goodness to that, it will add to it. So this is a good transit of Jupiter that you are going to have, Aries ascendants. Taurus ascendants. Taurus, your Lagna is now having Jupiter direct. So now see, it is your 11th Lord and the 8th Lord. Obviously, some change you have felt. Now, depending on the dasha, the transformation you're going through, 11th house is desires. It builds up your desire. It builds, due to desirable built up also, you may have changed something about your personality, something that you wanted to change maybe for a long time. But obviously, 8th Lord being Jupiter, it is not a negative planet, but transformation when 8th Lord comes on the Lagna is inevitable. The transformation can be subtle, can be huge, depending on the dasha you are running. If with this Jupiter on the Lagna you are running a difficult dasha, then the transformation which you are going through will be huge, and it can be painstaking. But yes, you'll have the the knowledge of Jupiter to go through it. That is the biggest point. Now February, March, April till 15th of May, you'll have this direct Jupiter, and you will be progressing with the knowledge that you have understood when Jupiter was retrograde. So that by the time Jupiter goes into Gemini, your second house, and aspects your Artha Trikon, that is the 6th house and the 10th house. Actually, I feel materialistically Jupiter does well in the Artha Trikon, because see, though it is not I mean, see, it's a guru. It is not the planet like Venus, Mercury, Saturn. It is not a materialistic planet. But the fact with Jupiter is that whenever Jupiter comes into the 2nd, 6th and 10th Artha Trikon or aspects, because that is what it is going to do, as it comes into Gemini in your 2nd house, it will be aspecting the 6th house, the 8th house and the 10th house. But the 6th and the 10th house aspect of Jupiter will be good for if you are changing a job, going for a new thing, all these things, maybe for your even, any materialistic thing. Materialistic means artha, which makes your position stable for the for in the outside world. That grip you will be able to do, because Rahu will also come into the 10th house, and this transit of Jupiter is actually stabilizing with your finances, with your living. And obviously the 8th house aspect of Jupiter, Saturn also will be aspecting from the 11th. The 8th house is Sagittarius. This is again making you think about joint finances, your 8th house getting active, about your research, about the things that are unknown, about maybe certain things which you had been thinking for joint ventures, insurance, putting in money into different pockets. All these things will come into forefront. So that way, this is a good transit for bringing some kind of a stability, as Saturn will be now in your 11th house aspecting the Lagna. Your decisions will be very practical, and this transit of Jupiter is also a very practical oriented transit in the Artha Trikon of the Jupiter. It is not a desire oriented transit, it is a practical transit. On the Lagna, when it is on your Lagna in Taurus, it is making you understand how to get the knowledge and proceed now with the next phase of your life. Now in the 2nd house, it is trying to give you the money, the change of things, the 6th and the 10th house. 2, 6, 10 getting stabilizing with its aspect and the grace of Jupiter. It's a good transit actually. So Taurus people, I feel that the 2 money houses with Jupiter and Saturn should, you will be constantly thinking about money related things, but that is how the time is for you. Maybe you need that to happen. That's how. Gemini ascendant, Jupiter on the Lagna, and now it is in the 12th house. So if you were if you were going through some expenses, or money was getting carried away, or you had done, or you had a even a little bit of surgery or health that had been not so good, maybe now you know how to rectify the things and move on with the Jupiter coming to your Lagna. Now, many Gemini ascendants could have gone for taking a loan, as Jupiter was aspecting the 6th house, building a house, that is the 4th house. All these things, Jupiter in the 12th, and that's why your money also goes, maybe for good things, but maybe you had some extra money expenses when Jupiter was in Taurus, and the last phase it will be in Taurus till 15th of May. Now, whenever you need to build something, or whenever it is a 12th house matter, some good karma, some bad karma, both comes in. Now, bad karma in the sense, some kind of expenses, some kind of health related issues, if you're running a Jupiter in the governing position of Dasha Antardasha, could have had happened, and you have dealt with it. And Saturn will now come to your 10th house with Jupiter in the Lagna. Now, Kendra, both the Kendras are very important. The Lagna and the 10th house being occupied by big planets. Jupiter will be able to at least grace you and make you understand with the effect that Saturn will be bringing into the 10th house of your work area. Because this is a really good transit for you. Because see, when Saturn comes in the 10th house, it's not an easy transit. And when Jupiter is there on the Lagna, it is telling you how to deal with the things. Dharma Trikon, right? 1, 5, 9. It will be aspecting the 5th and the 9th, and you can also get married with Sagittarius getting aspect of Saturn and Jupiter both, if you are of marriageable age. So, for if you are a student also, this is a good transit of Jupiter. You will be able to focus more now. Don't be in a rush. Jupiter from the 12th to the 1st to the 2nd. Now the transits in the 1st and the 2nd house of Jupiter is good actually. It will give you the kind of concentration, the knowledge, the where to go for the knowledge, what knowledge to gain, what not to gain. But don't be in a rush. Understand that how you can progress with this kind of a knowledge that is coming onto your Lagna. It is being showered upon you. It is a great transit actually. But the Gemini, I have seen that Gemini people mostly, they have because the Mercurian traits of the Gemini is so strong, they want to rush. They are a go-getter kind of an attitude they always have. That is okay. Life needs it, not denying that. But sometimes you have to slow down. With a big planet like Jupiter on the Lagna, think a little bit more than you do, in the other times. So it's a good transit. Taurus ascendant, Cancer ascendant. Cancer, Jupiter in the 11th now, getting direct. Hope the last leg of 8th Saturn getting out from the 8th house, and the last leg of Jupiter in your 11th house from February to 15th of May gives you the kind of fulfillment that Jupiter can give. Now see, I have always seen whenever Jupiter goes into the 11th house, there's a big there is something huge that is predicted, but it does not turns out in that way usually. Jupiter in the 11th does good, whether it increases some of your qualities of the friend, some of your desires, the focus with it, maybe children also do better. But understanding Jupiter is not a money planet. Malefic in the 11th house, how much it has the capability of giving it, forcing you with its things, that is also there. But Jupiter in the 11th is not just about monetary gains. Yes, if there is a planet in the 11th house and Jupiter is transiting over the planet, then the grace will be more. The planet is blessed actually in the 11th house. But this Jupiter, hope it's the last leg of Jupiter in Taurus, gives you some monetary or good fulfillment of the things that you wanted. So then it will go into your 12th house of Gemini. Now see, this is the 9th lord and the 9th and the 6th lord going into the 12th house. The Bhagya lord going into the 12th house is not a very sound transit, in the sense that it will come on your Lagna, but for a very short time. Then again next year 2026. Before that, I think you can get into, because see, here the thing is that some kind of a relief you're getting from Saturn going out of the 8th house. You having Ketu will come, Rahu Ketu in the 2nd 8th axis. So the thing about Cancer ascendants, what I'm trying to say is that some kind of monetary, you will be spending it. Maybe the reason is good. But that will happen, and maybe for some kind of a show also it can be. Gemini is a flashy sign to the extent that it's the 3rd house, small desires, and those desires are usually for the society. Don't get me wrong, but that is how the sign is. And Jupiter, because it is rushing through the signs, it is opposite sign of Sagittarius, small term goals. Sagittarius is big, knowledge is big. Here Saturn and Jupiter will be aspecting your 6th house and your 4th house and the 8th house. It is in the Moksha Trikon. You can take loan, well, that can happen. You can take a loan and build a house, that can also happen. So some kind of a ceremony at home can happen, so that you are spending. Some kind of a spending thing is seen whenever Jupiter goes into the 12th house. And if you have a rectification of the health due to Saturn 8th, that can also happen when Jupiter goes into the 12th. All in all, not a very great transit, I'll say, but still Jupiter in the 12th, because 12th is originally the house of Pisces. The 12th house is Akash Tattva. Like, it is a watery sign, but Jupiter is a Akash Tattva planet. It is very vast. So you can think a little bit about spiritually also, or contemplate about the things that is the 9th house affairs, the 6th house things and all this. The Gemini is not the sign which make you think much. It is an action oriented sign. So that's why keep a little tab on what you're doing. Try to, because Ketu in the second, as it will enter, it will not let you, save money. So think about it, and, judiciously you go through the process. Rahu will be in the 8th house. And Jupiter will come on the Lagna. After that, this will only happen. Maybe when it comes on the Lagna, you will understand what is the difference between the 12th house and the Lagna Jupiter transit. But next year, you have to wait for some time for Jupiter entering into a Lagna and giving, some relief, or some, what can I say, some better knowledge, some better understanding of life. But still, 8th Saturn going out and going to the 9th house is much better. You will feel a little bit of relief. Be careful of Mars, as Mars is not in a very good position, even because Jupiter is also now going into the 12th. So it is not aspecting your Lagna. That's why I'm saying all these things. So you have to be very cautious with the things that you are going on, and you have to go with the flow. That's the thing. That is how as of it is now, but at least you'll be relieved of Ashtam Shani. Leo ascendants, Jupiter will be entering your 11th house, and 11th Jupiter is good. It will definitely bring you new people in your life. 10th Jupiter that you're having for the last February, March, April till 15th of May, I think you have understood now much better your 10th house area. Let me know in your comments, because I have seen whenever Jupiter is not very much wanted in the sign of Capricorn, because 10th house is Capricorn, it is not the Jupiterian domain. 10th house is not knowledge. 10th house is your karma. Jupiter is knowledgeable planet, but still I have feel it gives an edge to how to knowledgeably put yourself outside in the professional world. And I will not deny this last for nearly 3.5 months of Jupiter transit will give you some goodies and some benefits in its 10th house. Now, once it goes into the 11th house, I will not quote it as a great transit of Jupiter in the 11th house. 11th house is not... 11th house is ruled by Saturn and Rahu. One has to understand Upachaya houses are better with malefics. Jupiter here gives a nice grace because it is aspecting your 7th house. You can well get married if you want to. 3rd house, short distance journeys are there. The 7th aspect comes onto your child's area. So if you want to plan a child, you have already you have children. The children, you want to put it into better perspective. Some kind of upliftment of the 5th house is there, because 5th lord is going into the 11th house. But Gemini, as I have told in my shorts also, Gemini is not the sign where Jupiter is too much not too much comfortable, in the sense that Gemini is a very fast forward, materialistic, desire oriented sign. Jupiter is full of knowledge. It does not look towards the short goals. Gemini is short goals. Here Rahu does well. The head which works like that. Jupiter is a very great planet. It is full of knowledge. So you can get knowledgeable people around you. Networks can be good. They can be crafty people. This can happen. If you have a planet at the 11th house, Jupiter is crossing that planet, you will get some benefit. That way, and obviously some kind of a desire fulfillment can happen. It is not a Rahu-ish or Saturn-ish kind, because 11th house is actually ruled by Rahu and Saturn. But still, Jupiter, being Jupiter, will always give you something in the house that it crosses. That is how a guru is. Without making you work too much towards it, it gives its grace. So this is a good transit, no doubt. Then Jupiter goes into your 12th house also. See, 12th house exalted Jupiter is not bad. It gives you a kind of spiritual upliftment, and I have seen that. That is exalted Jupiter in the 12th house. It can give you foreign destinations, studies over there. It can make you learn things in the process, and it can give you a solitary feeling. Solitary is not loneliness, learning through that solitariness. Whenever it's a 12th Jupiter transit, and especially in Leo ascendant, it's the exaltation of Jupiter. Make the most of the transit. The 12th house exaltation Jupiter is a very different flavor. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but this is the time when you can, it'll happen mostly in 2026, but still from 18th October, Jupiter will be in Cancer. Make the most of it. I'll make a video at that time. Jupiter in Cancer is like learning something in solitude, with the environment, with the atmosphere around you. It gives that kind of a taste. It's very healing, very learning. So Jupiter transit is good. Saturn transit is not good. You know that. 8th Saturn, be careful in whatever you're pursuing. And Rahu Ketu transit gives you a lot of unrealistic desire also. Leo Ketu. So that I'll make a video. Rahu transit is good in the 7th house as far as business and foreign connections are concerned. So this Jupiter transit, I'll rate it a good transit for you, Leo ascendants. Make the most of it. Virgo people, Jupiter is transiting in your 9th house now. It goes direct from 4th of November, and I think this transit of Jupiter, when Jupiter goes direct in Taurus, it will be really good for you because it is aspecting the Ketu on the Lagna, and you had been in a very confusion. Now this is what I felt. Many Virgo ascendants I have interacted with in the last year, and that's very natural when Ketu comes on the Lagna. It's a very topsy-turvy situation, what to do or not to do. If I'm taking a decision, it's right or wrong, and Jupiter was retrograde for that time. Now you will know slowly your decision, what you have taken, whether it's right or wrong, and what to go forward with. Now that is the knowledge Jupiter grants in the 9th house. It's a good transit of Jupiter. The last 3.5 months of Jupiter in the 9th house, it's actually a good transit. You may have to travel far and wide. You may have short distance travel also, but these travels will give you knowledge and will make you understand the decisions that you have been taking or you want to take, or the changes that you want to make with yourself or the 10th house area. Jupiter gives that. That is the knowledge of this planet. And it is not darkness. Whenever you have the knowledge, when you have the grace of Jupiter, you know that, yes, now I know I can proceed. Saturn is darkness. That's a problem with Saturn. It makes you do the thing, you fail, and then you have to go back and understand. Jupiter already grace, that is a grace of the Guru. It touches you with the knowledge. Now, when it comes to your 10th house, that is also a good transit in Gemini. For you, Jupiter transit is good now actually. Saturn coming into the Kendra in Pisces in the 7th house and Jupiter coming into the 10th house. It is a great transit for you now, and Ketu will be subsiding from the Lagna. So Virgo ascendants, I feel from May month, you'll feel quite uplifted. And it is quite a good phase of life you are inching towards actually. Jupiter in the 10th and then going into the 11th, it's really nice. It is in the Taurus, it is good. It is beneficial for knowledge, ideologies, all these things. You're gearing up for the 10th house. Now, 10th house, you will know what to put into action, what not to do. And Saturn in the 7th house is aspecting your Lagna. It'll give you some kind of a responsibility. Aspect of Saturn on Virgo is not bad. It is a sign loved by Saturn. So patience will increase. Fruitfulness in the work area will increase, and then when it go to the 11th house, obviously exalted Jupiter in the 11th house is also good. So it's a good transit for you. It is really good. So nothing much to say about it. Your 7th lord and your 4th lord coming into your 9th and 10th, and it is aspecting the 2nd house and the 6th house. Artha Trikon, I've always seen that whenever Jupiter transits the Artha Trikon, some changes in the work front comes. Money is added on because it is aspecting your second house. Money will be added to your account, and you will increase your savings. The sixth house related things can also, you will be able to handle it with care. So and Saturn, Jupiter both will be aspecting your fourth house. Some better changes at home, or the focus or the main attention will be also in the fourth house area, Sagittarius. It's a very good transit of Jupiter you're going to have. For Libra ascendants, Jupiter is now, it will be direct in your 8th house. And 8th house Jupiter is actually the main thing about Jupiter in the 8th house after going direct also. It is about some kind of transformation, definitely some changes that you're going through. But definitely 8th house Jupiter attracts money also, that I've seen. Maybe from inheritance, maybe from insurance, and also because it is aspecting the second house, some improvement in the second house now after going direct, it will definitely bring. Now it will go when in the sign of Gemini on 15th of May onwards in your 9th house. 9th house Jupiter, see Gemini, the problem with Gemini Jupiter is that the advice, 9th house Jupiter is really good, aspecting your Lagna, but the problem is Libra and Jupiter, Venus, you are the Mool Trikona of Venus, right? The kind of knowledge Jupiter imparts to a Libra ascendant is not very much acceptable also in certain cases. Jupiter is not a planet, because there is a difference in the knowledge of Venus and Jupiter. Both are very different, and that's why it's a third lord, and you will be able to, when it comes into the 9th house, you will be going for journeys. Definitely you will be learning, you can get good advice also. You will put in efforts. The 3rd house will be actually fortified by the presence of Jupiter in your 9th house. May onwards, you can go for short distance journeys also. Saturn will be coming into your 6th house and also aspecting your 3rd house is becoming now very important. Your skills, your communication, your actions, your activities, the steps you take, the decisions you take, those will be the main focus. The 9th Jupiter, whether it will be very beneficial for you or not, and Jupiter aspecting your Lagna, will be because it is aspecting an enemy sign. So here the best part is the aspect of Jupiter in the 3rd house, with Saturn also aspecting the 3rd house of Sagittarius. That area is actually getting the good flavor. That's what I'm trying to say. Now obviously it is a 6th lord and the 3rd lord. Jupiter is not a great planet in the sense that, being very inimical with the Lagna lord Venus. So the 6th lord going into the 9th house, the problem is that some fidgeting with the 9th house Bhagya, fortune you can feel, or some hindrances that can be felt. At times you can feel that. That is very true maybe with your father, because the 9th house is the father's house. If father gives you an advice, maybe you want to take it, you do not want to take it. That is totally up to you, because Gemini is a very swift sign. If it accepts, it does. Otherwise, it can just discard it. There's a free will in that. That is there. So the 8th and the 9th Jupiter is not very much giving you the kind of grace, because the planet in itself is very anti to the kind of Lagna you are having. That is what I'm trying to say. But when it's come to the 10th house, and if you have a planet in the 10th house, or for that matter Jupiter getting exalted in the 10th house, that will be of some aid to you, some goodness to your chart, because it will be able to give you some sound relief from the kind of situations if you're handling in your 10th house matters. So try and understand, Venus and Jupiter is very different, and I see that's why when I talk about Libra and Jupiter transit, it's a challenge in itself. The third and the sixth lord, Jupiter is a benefic planet, but will you be able to go with the benefic aspect of it or not? Whether you take the advice of that knowledge, which is quite different from the Venusian knowledge, that is a matter of free will for the Libra ascendants, whether that will be your choice to take it or not. That's what I wanted to say. But anyway, from the 8th house, I feel the 9th house Jupiter transit is better, and then also in the 10th house it is even better. So it is a little bit betterment that you're seeing towards May and then end of the year, like that. So it's a okay thing for you. Good transit. Okay. Saturn in the 6th house will make you work more. It is the 4th and the 5th lord going into the 6th. A little bit challenges there. Mother's health, even your health also. Saturn does all these things in the 6th house. Your children's health, all these things should be taken care of when Saturn runs into your 6th house. Scorpio ascendant, Scorpio, Jupiter is running into your 7th house. So 7th house Jupiter can give partnerships, especially if it is a love marriage, because it's a 5th lord coming into the 7th house. And because this is the last 3.5 months of Jupiter transiting, but obviously marriage is not just Jupiter transiting into the 7th house. It is an upliftment of your personality also. And Jupiter aspecting the Lagna is a saving grace from Saturn aspect running through your 4th house, because it leaves a dissatisfaction. It leaves some kind of not so good things. Saturn in the 4th house, even if it is own sign, it is not a good thing to be having even a transit of Saturn in the 4th house, other than some political things if it's involved. So Jupiter's grace on the Lagna is good. If you had some health problems, it will be able to give you the kind of rectification that you require, or you go through, you get an advice, that kind of a thing. Now 8th Jupiter, when it starts transiting your 8th house, 8th house Jupiter is, this is about hidden money, insurance. The 8th house Jupiter, when it is aspecting its own house, the 2nd house, monetarily I cannot say it's a bad transit, but yes, 5th house lord going into the 8th house, some bhagya bhang, or you have to be very careful with the luck factor in your life, or with your children also. You can fall apart, or you can not agree with their conditions. But the aspect of Jupiter is here, it is a moksha trikon, right? It is a 4th and the 12th. So like the main aspect of Jupiter here is the second house aspect, the 7th. Saturn will be also aspecting the 2nd house. So now again focus will come from you to the 2nd house, because now Jupiter Saturn was aspecting your Lagna, you yourself, your improvement, your health, your everything here. Now it again comes into the 2nd house of your home, your finance, rectification in the food, maybe the way you speak, maybe your joint finances, maybe your savings, maybe your, all these things will come into place. It's a good aspect of Saturn Jupiter in the 2nd house. Much cannot be said about the Jupiter in the 8th house, in the sense that it attracts money. It gives some kind of a boost from you, maybe from the in-laws. And yeah, sometimes I have seen that Jupiter in the 8th house can because it is 2nd house to the marriage, it can increase the family. It can, your wife can earn some wealth. That is good for that, or wife or husband, whatever. So then Jupiter will go into your 9th house. That is a good transit, definitely, but that is as of now for just very short time, 18th of from the 18th of October to 12th of December, something like that. But then this is the transit that you are going through. Health care is a must when Saturn is in the 5th house, giving you some tensions, and Jupiter is in the 8th house, activating the moksha trikon, and Mars is in a not very great condition, but Mars will have 2 very great transits, rather 3. Once in the 10th house, second in the 11th house, and then on the Lagna. So to make the most of that transit of Mars, and then in the 2nd house also, you have to have a sound health. I feel Scorpio people has been tensed for a very long time, being the fourth Saturn running. If you're a Scorpio moon, even more. But even from the Lagna also, when Saturn is in the fourth, there's certain situations that arise in life which is not very wanted. Some situations which are not very easy to deal with family and everything. So this is the process that you had been going through. Now take care of your health, take care of your finances. Finances will add also. This is a financial transit mainly, I call it, and some transformation in your personality is inevitable in this transit. Now Sagittarius ascendant. Sagittarius, Jupiter is in the last sixth house, and after that I feel the transit of Jupiter will be really good for you. Now sixth house Jupiter, when it comes into the now it's going direct from February to the 15th of May. Some changes in the job environment, if you are willing to make, you will be able to make. Some negotiations with your colleagues and all these things will take place. Your daily routine can go for a better change, though it is in the enemy sign. And Venus sign, Jupiter being in the Venus sign is not very easy thing. But then Jupiter comes into your 7th house. Marriage is a good thing. Your health will improve. You will be improving as a personality, as Saturn will come into the 4th. Now this is the problem you will be having in your horoscope. Saturn coming into the 4th, Ketu will move from the 10th. Rahu Ketu position is good. At least Rahu's position is good. Jupiter position is excellent. Both will be aspecting the 11th house. Your personality should shine, but only problem is Saturn in the 4th house. Saturn Jupiter aspect on the Lagna will be again good, but Saturn in the 4th gives some kind of a fear factor of some kind of which is, the heart does not feel very good with Saturn in the 4th house. That is or the family members do not understand in the way that they should have. So that is the issue with Saturn transit in the 4th, but Jupiter transit in the 7th house is good, absolutely good. Aspecting the Lagna, good. If any health problems were there, that will be sorted. You'll get some kind of a confidence in yourself. 8th Jupiter, when it comes in its exaltation, again, it's not bad being in this exaltation, but yes, 8th house is a mode of transformation. So in all, I'll call it's a good transit of your Lagna Lord. So yes, in the 10th house area, Saturn will be aspecting. You will get some challenges, some hindrances, some roadblocks. Deal it with the patience and the knowledge that Jupiter bestows you as aspecting its own Lagna. So have a good time, Sagittarius. It's a better time definitely from the last year for this transit of Capricorn ascendants. Jupiter is now there in your 5th house. 5th house Jupiter, 5th house is all about it is again a luck based house. But being in Taurus, Jupiter is not, it is in its enemy sign. Maybe the main focus is on the progeny, or maybe learning something, or a lifestyle change can also be, because 5th house gives you some mantra jap and all these activities can also happen. The last phase of Jupiter can be helpful as it is aspecting your 11th house, your 9th house and your Lagna. If you have been going through some problems with Mars in the 7th house debilitated with health issues, then it can get rectified. Now Jupiter coming into the 6th house in Gemini, Jupiter is not very great in the 6th house unless that you're going for a competitive thing, or you are looking for a job related thing. Now see, 6th house Jupiter can grant that much, because Jupiter is not very comfortable neither in a Mercury sign, as it is a desire sign of Gemini and small desires. Jupiter is not the kind of planet which suits Gemini very well. 6th house is another thing, is that it is the original sign of Virgo. Getting a regular job related thing can be good over here. Health, if needs a rectification, you can look out for that. You can get best advice. If, because Jupiter Saturn both will be aspecting your 12th house, some some expenditures can also happen. due to maybe health, due to maybe travel, due to maybe things like that. Jupiter will be aspecting your 10th house and your 2nd house and your 12th house. This 10th and 2nd aspect is not because see, Aquarius and Libra both are Aries sign, and Libra is just the opposite of what Libra is diplomacy, Jupiter is knowledge. Now through knowledge, if you have to, your 10th house matters, if you have to sort it in that way, in a diplomatic tact with the knowledge, that can be okay. Otherwise, health wise, you can feel some fatulence also when Jupiter comes in the 6th house, 7th house, 8th house. Also, the thing about your it is a 3rd lord coming into the 6th house and also the 12th lord. 3rd lord coming into the 6th is that making you putting efforts, because see, it is not a very great planet for your it is a benefit, no doubt, but it casts it gets debilitated on your sign. So the 12th lord coming into the 6th house can bring some difficulties in the regular job affairs also. If you get a job also, maintenance of it or going with it, flowing with it, can become a little difficult. And because Jupiter Saturn both will be aspecting the 12th house, a job change or something, a discontinuation of service can also happen. 3rd lord in the 6th house is that some kind of, if you are going through some issues, some case or something, this can come to towards a conclusion. It can happen. You can have to put more effort. If you want a loan, you can go ahead with it. So these things are there. Then when it comes into your 7th house, 7th house matters can get sorted with exalted Jupiter in the 7th, but again it will aspect your Lagna with the niche aspect, which is, I don't feel, the niche aspect of Jupiter is like you have the knowledge, but you are too proud with it, something like that. It puts a pride, uncanny, which is very not Jupiterian type actually. So okay, the overall situation is okay. Saturn, when moves into Pisces, your Lagna Lord, it's a challenging position in Pisces. 3rd house is good. 3rd house related things, some kind of a churning up of activity. 3rd house is that kind of a house. So that will start because 3rd is getting activated, 6th is getting activated. Rahu Ketu will also move axis. Now Rahu will go into the 2nd house and Ketu into the 8th house. So I think for Capricorn ascendants, 3 factors are becoming very important. One is all the 6th house matters, Rogrin Chatru, getting a job or quitting a job, changing a job, health process, all these things, and monetary factor. Because Rahu, when it comes into the 2nd house, very difficult to save money, and that's why Saturn and Jupiter is also aspecting your 12th house. You have to keep a thought about your expenses. That is very much the theme of 2025. Aquarius ascendants, Jupiter will come into the Gemini house. Your first, it is now into your 4th house. Maybe house related activities, some good things at home, selling your home, buying a home, luxury items at homes. Educationally, it should do okay, all these things. Jupiter in the 4th, when it goes direct by 4th of February in Taurus. That is the theme for the 1st till 15th May. Then it come into your 5th house. It'll somewhere it'll add on to your finances, because Saturn is also coming into the 2nd house. Both are aspecting the 11th house. Some kind of a coming of finances which are a little extra than what you have thought. You can feel happy with your progeny. Jupiter in the Gemini gives that kind of a situation in the 5th house. You can feel a little jolly because Saturn will move from the Lagna, and Jupiter in the 5th house gives a nice feeling, aspecting the Lagna and the 9th house. It is a joyful thing of 5th Jupiter. With the progeny, you can feel satisfied with your, you can go for a lifestyle haul, a change. You can do some job, you can do some shining of your luck can happen. But money is now the main theme for Aquarius, and some kind of small or big desire fulfillment, because Lagna Lord and the second Lord both aspecting the 11th house. Monetary desire fulfillment can well happen at this point of time when Jupiter is in Gemini. It's a good transit actually. Then when Jupiter goes into exaltation in the 6th house, that is also not bad, because Saturn had been on the Lagna, and in the 10th house matters, a lot of changes may have happened. Mars is there now in the 6th house, and when Jupiter comes later next year, also 2026, some kind of resolving of the issues of the 6th house, work related issues, environment in the work, your colleagues, your loan, paying off the loans, getting loans, all these things are favored in the 6th house Jupiter. So all in all, it's a good transit for you, Aquarius. And as Saturn moves in the 2nd house, all focus will be in the money. Rahu will come on the Lagna. Rahu on the Lagna gives some kind of a lofty idea, for some kind of confusion also it gives. But at least Jupiter aspect will be there on the Lagna. It will have a saving grace. So it's a good transit for you. Pisces. Pisces, you are having the 3rd Jupiter. 3rd Jupiter makes you flexible. There's nothing much that I can say about the 3rd house and Jupiter, because Jupiter's Marankarak Sthan is the 3rd house. It does not know what to do. It is the Mool Trikon is the 9th house, that is Sagittarius in the Kalpurush Kundli. 3rd house is Gemini. That is where Jupiter is now going towards. So this Taurus Jupiter, it can give you, some activities, some neighborhood change, some understanding of your flexibility, some getting along with the people as it aspects, or even marriage also as it aspects the 7th and the 11th, when it goes direct after 4th of February. From 15th of May, as it enters into your 4th house, some kind of educational pursuits will be followed over here. First and foremost is this: home and environment can be better. You can have a good time in your home. Some good festivities means some kind of a good rituals at home can be fulfilled. Saturn is coming on the Lagna. Kendra Jupiter Saturn makes you very active now. The Kendra pillars are very active now. So that way Rahu goes into the 12th and Ketu comes into the 6th house. This is 4th Jupiter is good, definitely. Then it comes into the 5th house. That is also good, aspecting your Lagna. That will be even better, because Lagna Saturn will be there, Jupiter will be aspecting that. Now, as Jupiter comes into the 4th house, Sagittarius becomes very important. It will aspect your 12th and 8th, but the 7th aspect of the 10th house is very important. In Sagittarius, Saturn and Jupiter both will be casting their aspect, and you will have some changes in the 10th house area. So that aspect of Jupiter is also good, the 7th aspect. So the transit wise, it is now a good transit. The 4th transit and the 5th transit later of exalted Jupiter is a good transit, no doubt. Only the pressure cooker item is Saturn on the Lagna. It's not easy to deal with Saturn on the Lagna, but at least you have your Lagna Lord now in a better position than the 3rd house Jupiter. So it's okay. When Mars becomes a little better, it is easier, because it is a 9th house Lord. The position of Mars is a little challenging. At least from 15th of May, you will get that Kendra Jupiter, where some goodness in your heart, 4th Jupiter, main thing is some coziness, some nice feeling in your heart should happen. Though Saturn is on the Lagna, I can always feel that pinch over there. Till now, Aquarius is going through that phase. So anyway, it's a good transit of Jupiter. Make the most of it for this year. 3 signs Jupiter will cross. It will give you, it is a fast moving Lagna Lord. And for Pisces and Sagittarius, one has to find a little bit of stability, because doing too fast into things will not help much. So that is why Pisces ascendants, you be careful in what you do and how you spend your time, and what you put your attention and how you put it. Don't be in a hurry. Understand that, yes, your Lagna Lord, because it is hurrying, you can feel that kind of an energy engulfing you. But understand that any hurried thing can cause you trouble also, as Saturn, the slowest planet, is on the Lagna. Understanding, you proceed in your path. The 10th house, if you have a planet, Jupiter Saturn aspect in the 10th is good actually. some prominent things can happen in the 10th house area. So this is the transit of Jupiter in the 3 signs in 2025. Have a good day, friends, and the next video I'll talk about something else. Till then, goodbye. Take good care.